Thank you, Mr. Solomon. Yeah, as a child, I looked at the priests who used to say Mass when I was in Fiango and then Manthe, where my parents were sometime, and I admired them. They were models for me. And at that early age, I started going to church, and I enrolled to be an altar boy. And I started serving as an altar boy, accompanying the priests to the outstations, to the villages, and accompanying them in what they were doing. Those were the early beginnings of my vocation. And I realized that when I accompanied them, I felt a kind of inner peace, an inner consolation when God calls you. You realize that what you are doing is the right thing to do. And whenever I tried to do something else, I didn't feel happy, even at that childhood. I was very good at sports, football, played football, all kinds of games. I'm gifted. But every time I said, let me take something else, that inner desire, was so strong that I could not avoid it. So those are the early beginnings of my calling. I think my early challenge was that God has blessed me so much, sincerely, with all kinds of talents. I played football in my school. I was in the football team, volleyball team, handball team, basketball team, table tennis team. So I can do any kind of thing. And so the tendency was, and I could see it, was that people said, why are you going to the priesthood when you should be a star? And so there was this tendency for me to say, should I continue or not? And the pressure of my friends was, leave that nonsense, leave that priesthood, get to the field or do something that would make you a star in the world. But every time I tried to think about it, I would not be happy. And that was a big challenge I had. Yes. I remember the major seminary was in Bamenda. I had never been in Bamenda, to be honest with you. And going to a place where I never knew about, it was kind of tough. Bamenda was quite cold at those days. So I went, my first time I left the southwest to go to the northwest. It was kind of strange to me. And that was very challenging. Because I left my parents, I left my friends, I left everybody to go to the major seminary in Bambu, in Bamenda. And that's where I found that sometimes you have to let go. And letting go was what was important for me to say. This is my path, which gives me joy within me, and I think I need to embrace this path. I think from what I see and which I impressed me with the principle that there is something beautiful when you bring joy to people's lives. I don't see any other joy than when you impact people's lives. I realize that people are suffering, people are wounded, people have challenges in life, and they need someone that they can really confide in. They need someone that can give them hope. I've seen the priesthood as a vocation that is supposed to bring hope to a world that is unfair. I see and I believe that life is unfair. And as a priest, my duty at that early period was, how can I bring hope to a world, to people's lives, where life is really unfair? As what happens to me, I see what happens to others. And so for me as a priest, I've seen my role in trying to bring hope to a world that truly is unfair. Sincerely, life is unfair. Sometimes you see a good person die. Sometimes you see good people suffer. Sometimes you see all kinds of things happening. I've come to learn that is how life is. And that's why we need preachers. We need people, men and women of God. We need people of God who can help bring back hope to a world. Secondly, I also believe that God created everyone in blessedness. You see, at the beginning of creation, when man and woman is created, the first thing God did was he blessed them. I have seen that many people have missed that original blessing which is given to everyone. And I see it happening all the time. People are sad. People are bitter. people are negative. People are resentful. I get disturbed to see people sad. I like to see them happy. And I think that God really wanted me to embrace this calling to make people happy. For me, if I see a sad Christian, I think that there's something wrong. If I see a sad person, I think that there's something wrong. I think that that person has not understood that he was created in blessedness. I think that that person's heaven has not opened. Because I believe that God has opened heaven to everybody. Heaven is open to everyone. But many people don't understand it. And that's why the joy of this vocation is that when I try to help people to see that heaven is open for everybody. And once we start living in that blessedness, that we are all God's blessed children, that's identity card. The identity card of every believer, of every human being, is that you have been blessed. But how many people do understand this in a world that is so confused today? So confused. I had not talked about moment. When I look back now in my life, I have only one, Solomon, I have only one storyline. One. What does it mean when you hand over your life to a father who is trustworthy? What does it mean to entrust your life to one who is always faithful and reliable? My life has been a drama. Real drama. Good times, bad times, challenging times. There are times that people have attempted to take away my life. Many times I survived. I've gone through all kinds of challenges. But there's something that has remained, that when we entrust our lives to a father who is worthy, there's only one conclusion that you come to. That one conclusion is what I call berakah. Berakah is a Hebrew word which means to praise God, to thank God, and to bless God. When you look at the lives of the Jews, they could not have any response to God but berakah, because when you look at what that father can do, sincerely in my life, that God, that father who is so wonderful, so lovable, has seen me through. I believe that I am the most blessed child in this world, the most fortunate human being. Because when I look at what that father has done in my life, that father in heaven, who is so kind, who is so protective, who is so defensive, who is so reliable, who is so trustworthy. What else do I need, Solomon? What else? My life has been a series of fulfillment and joy. That's why I smile all the time. Because that father has made me to smile. Not that I don't have challenges. I've had all kinds of challenges. But, and all kinds of temptations. But that father has seen me through. And that's why today I can talk to you now to say, Father, berakah, I praise you, I bless you, and I thank you. I don't see any other father who is so trustworthy in this world than the Father in heaven. Solomon, when I went to study in Rome, to do my doctorate, I love education. And my bishop told me to go do theology. I said, no, Bishop, can I just do something non-clerical? And he accepted me to do education. I think that education is the greatest asset you can give to a people. I believe in it. And so I was so blessed. Again, I tell you how blessed I am. So my bishop sent me to study education in Rome. I did education. And I focused on African-centered education. And my thesis, I showed that the book Mbang Suma, which the President Paul Biya wrote, I took that book. There's a philosophy that Mbang Suma. Mbang Suma says that I can never be happy if you are not happy. Wonderful philosophy. I took that philosophy, the philosophy of sharing, the philosophy of taking care of others. I designed the African-centered pedagogy for Africa. I believe that the way that kids are taught in Africa is destroying Africans. Africans have a lot of talents. They are so blessed, but what happens? We are teaching Africans the way whites are teaching whites. And so I defended that Africans, they need a new pedagogy. And when I came back, it is that pedagogy that I implemented with the schools. I began by making reforms.
And what were those reforms?
Now imagine that somebody is teaching in a Catholic school. His children are not there, one of the top schools. I gave scholarships to them. I empowered them. I created a common pool that if the teacher is not happy, how do you expect that kid to be happy? So I believe in human-centered education. Because what happens? Schools are not buildings. Schools are not structures. My philosophy, schools are persons and relationships. And that's what Africa is. Africa from the day one, if you look at the African pedagogy, thousands of years before the West stole education from us, nobody failed in Africa. Take a parent who is a hunter. He trains this child, and the child must succeed. But what is happening? We have brought in this test-centered system in Cameroon, in Africa, where students come write a test. They fail and fail and fail. Then they don't come up with their best of talents. That is destroying Africa, destroying even our country, Cameroon. So that's why when I came, I redesigned the system. I designed what means the hands-on system, more especially the entrepreneurial university. The entrepreneurial university is a new concept which we need not only in Cameroon but in Africa, because that concept destroys the traditional way of education, where a child feels that he comes to class, takes a lesson, goes and writes a test, takes a certificate, and goes out. That is destroying Africa. Remember, Solomon, all the inventions, even in the US, are done by blacks. Most of the top inventions. But where are we? We are not known. The blacks, we are gifted. Cameroonians, especially, are so intelligent. But our educational system has destroyed Cameroonians. It is too test-oriented. So students don't come out with their full potential to be the best version of themselves. That's why in the Catholic University Institute of Boya, I designed this system. It was not easy. Because when you bring a new thing, people say, but what is entrepreneurship? Why do you train people who are job creators, who are innovative, who are creative? This was new because you have to change the whole curriculum of the university. So we do things like volunteerism, mandatory. Students have to get a guest speaker to model them. They have to do hands-on, things that the normal university doesn't do. So this has been the challenge, but I thank God that the Minister of Higher Education, Famin Dongo, wrote me 3 letters and said, you know what you're doing. Thank you for what you're doing. And they have supported us. Because we cannot do education the same way anymore. And that's why our students in Cameroon cannot compete with those in China. They cannot compete with those in America. They cannot compete with those in Japan. The entrepreneurial university is to change the mindset, to train Cameroonians to be critical thinkers. That you put any student in my school, anywhere, that student will to make it. And that's what Africa needs. Who are building our roads? Whites. Because we don't have the ingenuity. It's too theoretical. It's too certificate inclined. This is what CIB is trying to do. And this is what I brought into higher education in Cameroon, the entrepreneurial philosophy, which for me is key to the problem of unemployment, the problem of misery. This is what Africa needs. And I think this is where I come in. Every human being who does not keep to his or her divine identity, there's something wrong. We are all called to be blessed children. I see today people go for deliverance, I want to be delivered from this. There's a problem. Every child is blessed. It's our original identity. He blessed them. God blessed them. My original life is blessing. Your Solomon, your original is blessing. So as a priest, I've seen that many people don't know that. They come to church. They are sad the next day. After Mass, they are sad. They are bitter. So I've written so many books. So many books. And then one of the things I noticed was that many of them, they're afraid of witchcraft. And they're tormented by devils. So I wrote books like how to release from curses so that it can help people to get back to blessedness. Because God died on the cross to remove us from the curse. So I don't see why someone should be cursed. It is there, but Christians don't know that. So my books have always been spiritual. To make people realize that blessedness, to live a happy and blessed life, is not something for those who have money or something for special people or for priests or no. Blessedness is the identity of every human being. We are called to live the kind of life I live, a life of blessedness, a life that when I look back, I say, Lord, you are so good to me. I am fortunate. I don't deserve all this. But why do you make me like that? This is what every Christian should be saying. God, why do you make me so happy? It is not about money. It's not about things that you have. The kind of blessing I talk about is that inner life in us that enables us, even in the midst of trouble, you still keep smiling. This is what we need today. And that's why my books have all been like that. I'm already now writing my Silver Jubilee book. I call it Beraka, an authentic African spirituality. You see, I still believe that colonialism has destroyed our church. The colonial masters came and made us to be beggars, to look like victims. Oh, poor Africa, poor Christians. Every time we are begging, every time we are crying, every time we are bitter. Oh, look at how I'm suffering in Africa. Look at how Africa is bad. We have destroyed Africa. Look at Cameroon, wonderful country. Let's sit and build this country. God has given us the potential. So I am there to give positive impact on society. I believe that attitude is what determines people. Your attitude. What you see, Solomon, is what you follow. If you always see negative, you see poverty, this is what's happening. Many Cameroonians are seeing poverty every day and poverty every day when their lands are blessed. The country is blessed, the continent is blessed, but we are all complaining. There's a big, it touches my soul as a priest. And that's why all my books I've written. My goal is that I want everyone to live a blessed life like Jesus Christ. This is what Jesus Christ did. Every time they came to Jesus, what do? He will take it, he will bless it, he will break it and share it. That is the whole Bible. Jesus Christ always, when 5 loaves, 2 fish. Oh, the apostle said, oh, it's negative again. Oh, we are poor, only 5 loaves, 2 fish. How can we feed these thousands of people? Christ said, oh, you get it all wrong. You are blessed. Take that as a blessed. Take it. So he got the 5 loaves and 2 fish. What did he do? He blessed it. He went back to his original identity. He, as Jesus, was a blessed child, a special child of God, like all of us. He took it, he blessed it, he broke it, and shared it. What happened? And there was what? Abundance. So why do we lack abundance today? Because we don't live what I call the Eucharistic life. We don't accept life in gratitude. We don't appreciate who we are. We complain about our background. We complain about our parents. We complain about our homes. We complain about our villages. We complain about everything. And then we forget the blessedness that we all have. What we need to do in life is like Jesus, take it. Take your life. I accept my life. My parents were all Kali teachers. They used to go for months without salaries. Months. But I'm a happy man. My parents are very happy. They taught me how to be happy. They taught me how to be grateful in life. They taught me how to acknowledge my own blessedness as a family. And my family has been wonderful because of that. And I think that my role now, 25 years, is to share this blessedness. I think not only me, the Bible says it. I call myself, I'm a berakapreneur. You know a berakapreneur? A berakapreneur is one who God has invested in him, and he uses that investment to impact the world. The Bible in Matthew's Gospel, chapter 25, it tells you of a story that God created 3 people and gave one 5 talents, he gave another one 2 talents, he gave another 1. The 5, what did the 5 do? A berakapreneur means you take your life as a gift, you multiply it. The one with 5 did what? He went and multiplied it. He used his talents, sports, games, when you multiply your talents, it doubles. He didn't have what? 5, 10. The other one took it. Positive guy, positive thinker, he multiplied it and had 4. He came back and said, oh, you gave me 2. I have 4. You gave me 5. I have 10. The other one did what? He took it. He buried himself. He went and buried it. You bury, what do you bury? You bury dead people. That's what is happening in Africa. We keep burying ourselves. We take all the gifts we have, we bury it, we cry, we bury ourselves. That's why Africa is buried. Africa needs to come out of that tomb. I believe that Africans, please come out of that tomb. Why do we bury ourselves with negativity? Sometimes I ask, is negativity part of the African DNA? Has God made us negative? Solomon, is it true? No, but we have made ourselves negative. We are so negative. All the things we bury, we don't see anything positive in life. We always see the negatives. This is what hurts me. My goal now, I will say I'm a berakapreneur. I want many Cameroonians to be Kenyans. Means that people who know that everybody has been gifted, whether it's 1 talent or 1.5 or 1.5, if we start using that, your life will double. This is the philosophy of berakapreneur. And that's what, as you say, Solomon, this is what I want to preach now. God has gifted everyone. God has invested in every human being. And don't take that investment and bury it. Don't bury yourself there with negative thought, negativity. Some people are so bitter. They are resentful. They don't see anything good. Meanwhile, there's goodness everywhere. So this is my goal. This is my Jubilee goal. To train Berakapreneurs. Berakanians. I call them Berakanians. Berakanians are people who Beraka means to praise, who take life, whose life is based on gratitude. Whose life is based on appreciation. Joy. Oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Solomon, one word. Cameroonians, one word. Beraka. Beraka. Beraka sums up my life. My life has been a life of blessing, of favor, of victory, of success. That is my response. And every Cameroonian can live that life. So I want to start training. I've started a new ministry called the Kalik Beraka Ministries. My goal now, for the next 25 years, my goal now as I move on in life, is to train many Cameroonians to join and celebrate my life with me. Not that they have to be like me, but I want to see everybody joyful like me. I want to see everybody appreciative like me. I want to see everybody a Berakanian like me, where you base your life on gratitude, on appreciation and joyful praise. That is what Beraka is all about. And when you do that, you see that the only response you can see, God, your Father in heaven is wonderful. I praise you, Father. I bless you, Father. I thank you. I have a salute. We call it the Beraka salute. Can I show you? So tell me, say remember to me. Remember.
Remember.
So I will say what? Beraka, which means that I want everybody to realize that everybody is called to live a blessed life. So then I'll give you a three high five. 1 for praise, 2 for thanksgiving, 3 for blessing. We are all praise people. We are all thanksgiving people. We are all a blessed people. That is my 25th anniversary salute. I want that everybody should be doing that, so that in that way we change our culture. Cameroon should be one of the best countries in the world. If only we start this new culture of Beraka, to be a Berakanian. You see, you double, whatever you have. If, for example, I have my 1 talent, I double it to 2, you have 2, you 4, somebody has 10, 20. Cameroon, everybody comes to Cameroon. This is the goal. And it's possible. It's doable because Jesus did it. He took it, he blessed it, he broke it. So every time I'm on the altar, what do? I take bread, I take it as a gift to the community, I bless it to God, I break it and share. My whole life has been that. That taking, breaking, blessing, breaking. And that's why people say in education, that's why I did education. And I do my students. My students love me a lot because they know that's why I'm here. I'm there for them. So my goal in my Silver Jubilee is to leave a legacy. This legacy of Berakaship, or what I call to be a Berakanian, or to train Berakapreneurs, which we all need in our country today. Thank you so much, Lord. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.